I don't think we can thank everybody enough. I really want to thank the Aware Foundation and We Help the Missing for putting her poster out there. It reached over 2 million people within 48 hours. It was all over the world. Yeah. And I especially want to thank Detective Tracy Barry of the 5th Precinct here in Patchogue, because without her, we don't know when this would have even happened. She got the ball rolling. She's my angel, and I thank her the most.
What an incredibly difficult spot for Gabby Petito's mom. It's Nicole Schmidt. And for the entire family, you know what a nightmare all of this has been. I mean, you go through something like this is tough enough, but then the world is watching. But the fact that the world's watching now could be pretty helpful, because we know what happened to Gabby Petito. We know where she was found. We know that she was left alone out in Wyoming. And we know who left her alone. It was her boyfriend. It was Brian Laundrie who did it. I mean, he left her alone. Whatever happened, you know, at some point, hopefully investigators figure all of this out. But whether she was alive or dead, he left her alone, because he came back alone in her van, by the way. Now Nicole Schmidt, who has been incredibly strong throughout all this, as the whole family has been, is starting to feel even more of the anger. And as much anger as people around the country are feeling about Brian Laundrie hiding from authorities and running away wherever he is. Imagine if you're the mother of that girl. Here's what she tweeted out, Nicole Schmidt. Mama Bear is getting angry. Turn yourself in. Joseph Petito agrees. Justice for Gabby, America's daughter. And you can see the anger that is seething at this point. And that anger was there initially as well, you could imagine, because when she's missing, there's no response. They're not saying anything. Then, when they find Gabby, he's gone. He's in the wind somewhere. So this is all creating a delay in everything, right? And at some point, there may very well be a trial involving the homicide of Gabby Petito. Someone's going to get charged. I have a feeling there's so much focus and pressure on investigators that they're going to be able to solve this one. Let's bring back in the think tank. And I want to look at this from a couple different perspectives. And Michael Bixson, begin from the defense perspective. And this is a huge hypothetical because no suspect has been named. No one has been charged. We don't even know the cause of death yet from the autopsy. But if there is a trial involving Brian Laundrie as a defendant involved in the homicide of Gabby Petito, what's happening right now? How does this impact what would happen inside a courtroom in the trial against Brian Laundrie, if and when it would ever happen?
Absent some, circumstance that I can't come up with right now, or something that we don't know about right now, him being out on the run is absolutely going to hurt his defense. I mean, whether you're talking jury instruction, whether you're talking, the jury actually going back there and looking at it, but flight is a huge problem. If you had a defendant who's out on the run, while the police are looking for them, or even if they're a person of interest like he is right now, not necessarily a warrant out for this, at least for this, even being a person of interest and him being out on the run for this long is not going to help his case in any way whatsoever. And I know that the prosecution is absolutely going to use it to their advantage.
Jennifer Brandt, from my perspective, sometimes when someone's missing and there's a delay, it can hurt prosecutors. I don't think we're at that point yet because we're so early on in this case. What are your thoughts about what's happening now and how it could potentially impact a trial if and when there is one?
Well, I agree with Michael. I mean, I don't think this helps Brian Laundrie at all being out there. And where is he? We have no idea. You're getting calls from various people that are spotting him and thinking they've seen him. So how does he explain where he went and why he went and what he's doing? I think that's going to be a huge factor in the case. So I think we're all wondering. But, what'll happen And it not necessarily hurt the investigation, but as time goes by, this will move out of the public spotlight and there'll be something else. And it'll get revived again if and when they find him. But, you know, right now, everyone's very, very focused on this. But like everything else, something else will come up and people will be more focused on that. So I think it's important to keep the attention on it now and have people looking for him and seeing if we can find him sooner rather than later and not let a lot of time go by. Because there's a lot of missing people out there, and this has brought renewed attention to people that have been missing, where cases sort of go cold and people aren't, and no reason, there's no explanation for why people go missing.
Absolutely. And every night on this program, in our 9 o'clock hour, we focus on unsolved cases every night, Monday through Friday. Casey, let me ask you, there are two things that have gotten people really angry. I'm talking about the public with Brian Laundrie. His silence and his hiding. The fact that he never said anything when Gabby was missing. Never spoke to the parents, never spoke to investigators, never spoke to anyone. Got people seething mad when they were looking for Gabby Petito. And then people got equally as mad when he's gone missing. But when you get to a trial, that silence, prosecutors can't use that against him. The fact that he doesn't talk, right? That's like your right to not ever say anything. But once you run away, like Michael said, prosecutors can use that. And this might be the worst move. If and when there's a trial, this is probably the worst move that he ever could have made. The smartest move was never talking, right? The worst move was running away.
I agree. And in this case, I don't know what his attorney or what's the purpose of having his attorney, because obviously he hired him early on in the process. And if I was his attorney, I would tell him, yes, absolutely, remain silent and remain in place. The prosecution cannot use his lack of words, or even if he did give a statement to his parents against him, but they obviously can use his actions. And in this case, his flight is consciousness of guilt. He left. And what was the purpose of him leaving? I said this before in the program, that he actually would have had a better defense had he stayed in place, because it was caught on the body cam footage that law enforcement said have a cooling off period. So who knows what happened during that cooling off period? Who knows whether or not they separated and she decided to go elsewhere and could have gotten murdered by anyone else. But for him to leave, come back without her, and then flee again, he's in this case, I don't believe that he is in the reserve anywhere. I believe that he's in hiding, in plain sight, or possibly dead.
Michael Bixon, this creates, and again, we're taking a look at what's happening now and how it could potentially impact a trial for homicide, whether it's murder, manslaughter, whatever the charges are or could be. No suspect, no one's been charged. But this really would create for the defense another huge hurdle, because now you as a defense attorney would have to explain to the jury why he was running away and hiding. And that's going to be a little tricky.
Yeah, I mean, and realistically, I think for the defense, the best way to tackle it is head on. Just admit that, yeah, he was scared, that he was terrified, that he didn't know what to do, that he knew that he was absolutely going to be the #1 suspect here. And so he did something that was wrong and that he went out on the run. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he did actually kill her. Now, at least that's, if I was the defense, that's probably the argument that I would take, because there isn't much of a better one, unfortunately.
Okay, our think tank is staying with us, and I want to let you know that coming up in our next hour, like 28 minutes or so, we're going to be speaking with, as long as the cell signal comes through, another hiker from the Appalachian area who says he believes for sure that he saw Brian Laundrie. We'll talk to him about who he came into contact, all the circumstances surrounding that, coming up at the top of the next hour.